G'day, WarblesOnAlot here. A fella called Brett Keane came up with 20 questions and AdamShumpisxXx had a go at answering them, and I left some comments on Adam's thread, and therefore Adam wants me to have a go at answering the questions. So here we go. First question, is there ever a time when torture is justified? And the answer is no. It doesn't matter how scared you are. Your paranoid fantasy does not entitle you to hurt or harm anybody else on the planet. Your fear does not entitle you to do harm. Question 2, can genocide or war ever be truly justified? Of course not. The commandment is thou shalt not kill. You want to get God on side? Then don't do war, don't do genocide, don't do killing. Question 3, if a thief stole food from you to feed their family, should they be punished? Well, they should be re-educated. The fact is, they haven't stolen food to feed their family. They've stolen food to salvage their pride because they were too full of themselves to ask for help. So they need to be re-educated. Punished? The Book of Inspiration says these are thy evil inspirations. 1, the urge to kill. 2, the urge to punish. 3, the urge to slander. So you have no right to punish anybody else. Judge not thy fellow human, saith the Lord. Question 4. If you were forced to choose a group to be wiped out in order to reduce the global population, who would you wipe out and why? Okay, I don't have to choose. The Creator already has a game plan in process. It's delightful. I'll give you an example. Combat veterans have twice the psychosis rate and twice the death by suicide rate of the background population. The children of combat veterans have 4 times the death rate of the background population. They have 3 times the suicide rate, 1.8 times the death by accident rate, and 1.2 times the death by illness rate. So, when anybody joins any armed force, they are being awarded a partial Darwin Award upon enlistment. It's confirmed when they themselves are buried or when they bury their own child. And thus, warrior DNA is being bred out of the human race. Yeah, I don't have to figure out who to kill. It's already in place. I believe this comes under the heading of thus the meek shall inherit the earth. Question 5 is 2 questions. The first part is, do animals deserve to be butchered, cooked and consumed? Of course they don't. There's nothing in animals that humans need to eat. We do not absorb complete proteins, we absorb amino acids. Animal fat will not dissolve in human blood. It causes plaques on the inside of the arteries, leading to heart disease and cerebrovascular disease and strokes. It's also pretty good at making bum cancer. There is nothing in animals that we need to consume, therefore they don't deserve to be killed and butchered and cooked and eaten. Second part of the question, do the animals even deserve to be sacrificed in the name of the gods? Of course not. The gods made the bloody animals. Why would the gods be impressed at a person killing the animal in order to speed the message? What an infantile view of religion. Question 6, is lying wrong if to protect your family or your friends or yourself? Well, thou shalt not bear false witness is the way the Mosaic commandment puts it. The way I'd put it is that in order to lie to somebody, you have to believe that they are such a fucking moron and an idiot that they're never going to see through the lie, and you're going to be able to keep the wool pulled over their eyes forever. Personally, my first criminal conviction was for attempting to lie to bank card. It was utterly humiliating. Standing in the dock, I decided never to lie again, if that's what society does to liars. Therefore, I have a licence to tell the truth in public places, and I get a pension for telling the truth in public places because it makes me functionally unemployable. So I sit under the trees talking to the kangaroos and thinking about what matters, and all those liars are out there working their ass off to pay the tax so I can do the philosophy. Snicker, snicker, snark, chortle, chortle, tee-hee. No, lying is never right. Tell the bloody truth. Wear it. 7. Should you honour abusive parents? Love and honour and obey. Well, love and honour, I guess. It's like this. Judge not thy fellow human. You don't know what it was in the abusive parents' past that caused them to be like that. I've had to forgive my parents a lot of really stupid shit that they thought was right at the time. They honestly believed they were doing the right thing. So, make excuses for your abusive parents and honour them by not repeating the abuse when you yourself become a parent. That's how you love and honour an abusive parent by not repeating their stupidities and their mistakes and making sure that the grandchildren grow up without that crippling deficiency. Question 8. Is any type of sex unnatural and wrong? Well, that's 2 questions. I mean, I can envisage all kinds of sex that are unnatural. Are they wrong? It depends on who gets damaged. If somebody seriously wants to have sex with himself by inserting a pineapple, I think it's probably going to do a bit of damage, therefore it's probably wrong, but if that's their decision, they can. Among consenting adults, fine, not a problem. What you've got to get your mind around, though, is that a good shit is better than a bad fuck. Alright? And a bad fuck, no matter how many footprints go on the headlining of the car and no matter how many shared orgasms there are, any fuck that stands to make any child miserable is a bad fuck, by definition. That's what a bad fuck is, one that makes children miserable. So, it might be natural, you might be responding to the pheromones, and it still might be wrong. Okay, you should not be having sex with anybody unless you would be prepared to raise children with them in the hypothetical situation that a child might show up in your life. A foundling, perhaps. Question 9. Explain the difference between war, abortion, capital punishment, cloning and assisted suicide. Well, cloning's not in there at all. Assisted suicide, it is a form of death. I've helped people to die. I contacted their relatives and told them that the mother had acquired the flu, and if they wanted her to have an easy way out, just ring the doctor and make sure that she doesn't get prescribed antibiotics. Pneumonia is called the old person's friend. So that's a little bit different to war. It's a little bit different to abortion. Nobody ever asked to be conceived, not me and not you, but I'm glad that I was born. If you pick the live birth, and with a little bit of work, inside of 5 years, you can share a cup of coffee and discuss politics with another life form who thinks you know everything and has a great deal of respect for you. If you pick the abortion, you've just got a guilt trip that goes on forever. But basically, thou shalt not kill. Question 10, 7.5 minutes running to time. Is cloning yourself to harvest body parts wrong or immoral if it means your own survival? Well, yeah. I think it's wrong in the same way that I think if you take a blood transfusion out of its bag and mix herbs and flour and salt and cook it up in a fry pan and eat it, it's cannibalism. Right? So taking somebody else's life force into yourself so that you can feel better or you can live longer, it's not right when you're chewing off the neighbour's leg. It's not right when you're eating a blood donation. It's probably not right when you're injecting the blood donation, and it's certainly not right when you're conceiving an entire new soul in vitro in a test tube, also that you can grow it in a bigger test tube and chop its organs out and try and transplant them into yourself, all because why? Because you are afraid of death. You are afraid of death. Why else would you want to go to all that trouble just to avoid it? Oh ye of little faith. Question 11. If an alien life form visited you, how would you react and deal with the unknown? I would react with amazement because I think the energy requirements for travelling from any other inhabitable planet to here are beyond the bounds of the possible. How would I deal with the unknown? As politely as possible. Question 12. What is the perfect mate for you or companion? Well, I'm celibate. I've been celibate for 12 years. I have shit magnet effect. The only partners that are attracted to me are dysfunctional, promiscuous dingbats who turn my life to shit, and I cannot put up with the effect they have, therefore I don't play that game anymore. I acquired shit magnet effect by seducing lots and lots of sweet young things when I was young and liked to charm the pants off them. Every time I did a certain amount of psychological and emotional and psychiatric damage, and finally when I decided to settle down and save myself for marriage, I actually married the collective psychiatric damage that I had done to the female half of the human race. And upon reflection I realised that the previous girlfriend was no worse than the one I married. I have a flat learning curve with companions and partners, and I saved myself from such a fate by being a celibate. Okay? Question 13. Who are you? Don't answer by saying who you are not. I am the fool on the hill. I am a mad scientist who lives on an endangered species sanctuary. I use trespassing sheep for archery practice. I'm a low-speed aerodynamics consultant, retired, I'm a general nurse, time expired. I'm a father, I'm a stepfather. Actually, I was the stepfather from hell. I'm a pacifist and a green extremist and a peace activist. I'm poet in residence for the Environment Centre at Armidale. I'm the last person to have flown the world's first legal minimum aircraft. I'm the bloke who figured out a safe way of aero-towing hang gliders and donated the method to the Civil Aviation Safety Authority and saves $31 million of unbroken yuppies every year in Australia. And I'm the bloke who drives around with a solar thermal ramjet fashioned out of a streamlined solar panel on the roof of the car, and I shave 30% off my fuel burn, and I'm trying to convert the rest of you bloody idiots to save a bit of fuel and save a bit of money and reduce your carbon emissions by doing the same. That's who I am. Question 14. What's the worst experience I've ever had? Probably the night I was arrested at gunpoint and I looked over my shoulders and saw 6 revolver muzzles pointing at my head. That was pretty bad. Question 15. Have you ever been betrayed? Yes. I told you. I married the collective psychiatric damage that I'd done to the female half of the human race. It was a pretty upsetting marriage and the aftermath wasn't much fun either. Question 16. Have you ever fantasised killing or hurting another life form? I was raised a hunting, shooting, fishing meat eater, and for 2 years I killed all the meat that I ate. Okay? I got this way by experience. It's not a theoretical exercise. Question 17. What's the most embarrassing moment you've ever experienced? Well, there I was, upside down, nothing on the clock but the maker's name, 5 feet off the ground, and I were flying backwards in my ultralight motor glider when I failed to clear the fence post in a 200-yard paddock on a downwind takeoff. That was pretty upsetting. I was wearing a leather helmet and goggles and a black leather jacket and a white silk scarf, and I even had fur-lined boots. I was being Biggles at the time. Question 18. Can you think of anybody who deserves to be bullied? No. I was bullied at a Catholic boarding school for 2 years. It was bloody awful. Nobody deserves that. Question 19. Would you, if you could, transfer your mind to a computer and let it be fed into the system in order to ensure your own survival? No. I have faith. I have a really good, powerful God theory. I'm not afraid of death, and I certainly don't want to be computerised in silicon. Question 20. A God appears, makes it absolutely and really clear that they are reality and commands you to wipe out a city or be punished eternally. It instructs you. Would you do it, and why? Well, no. Thou shalt not kill. And any entity that came and claimed to be a god and made such demands upon you is, by making the demand, identifying itself as not being a god. Right? I mean, wake up to yourself. The God of peace, love, brown rice and alfalfa sprouts doesn't operate that way. It's like this. You've heard of the 23rd Psalm, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for my God theory maketh me to lie down beside the still waters and enjoy the strong grass that grows there. Okay? If you've got a powerful God theory, that's how you see it. If you've got a powerless God theory, then you go and buy an insurance premium to cover the roof of your church for the day the God of all things, maker of heaven and earth, creator of all things seen and unseen, is dicking off on the job and can't look after the roof of your church. You might get life insurance, you might get fire insurance for all of the things that your God theory can't deal with. You see somebody who wants to hide a cubic foot of vital anatomy behind a quarter of a square inch of muzzle area, and they carry a weapon for self-defence. They are the people who have a powerless God theory, not worth a pinch of shit on the compost heap. That's why they carry guns. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear every evil, every imaginable evil. That is why the police commissioner issueth me with a 16-shot semi-automatic sidearm, a taser, a can of capsicane, a Kevlar bullet-resistant, knife-resistant vest, a radio, a shotgun in the cruiser, and a buddy to walk back to back as we quiver through the streets, because people who try to defend themselves have powerless God theories, and I do not have a powerless God theory. Last time I was home invaded, I chose to let him kill me if he wanted to, and I'm still here. He stopped. He even fixed the phone that he'd busted and pissed off, and he's never been back since. Truly, you just got to have faith.